Hello, lovely people, and welcome to another in a series of Doctor Who ranking videos. I'm looking through the classic series and telling you what are my favourite episodes. This is totally subjective. It's totally subjective, just to do with my own personal preferences. So of course, I'd love to hear your feelings on different episodes in the comments below. This time we're on the 5th Doctor, so it's a lot less epic than last time's 4th Doctor. We haven't got 7 years to get through here, but just a few seasons. So starting off with Castrovalva. Actually, one of my favorite regeneration episodes. What I like about this one is that Davison really shows his acting abilities, his mimicking abilities, actually, as he literally unravels the scarf and the 4th Doctor's scarf, and also unravels in himself as he tries to find his new persona. He takes on the almost mimics all the other Doctors and does a really, really good job. I particularly love his Hartnell impression at the beginning. But yeah, it's actually a really interesting one. It's not like the most memorable of episodes ever, but I really like this one. It's interesting how it plays on world building. I won't give too much away, but yeah, the mystery is the environment itself in it. So yeah, I really like this one. I'm going to give it an A, I think. Next, we have Fort to Doomsday, which is sometimes seen as one of the not one of the better Davison stories, but to me, it's one of those rainy day episodes that I quite enjoy watching. It's not brilliant, but it does have some interesting ideas, and I do like the giant frog guy at the beginning. So I'm going to put it as I'll probably put it as a C, I think, this one. Then we're on to Kinder, which is my favorite of the Davison stories. Totally unique, totally could not be done on any other show, I don't think, than Doctor Who. It's such a trippy experience, and takes place a lot of it takes place inside a nightmare, which is, yeah, you have to see it. It's easily one of my favorite Doctor Who's, and it's an S tier. Then we have the Visitation, another one of the strongest Peter Davison episodes, in my opinion. I love the way that they managed to combine historical events with an alien threat in this, and the alien threat itself is really memorable. The Pterodactyls, I think they're called, really well executed and still holds up now. The sort of setting as well is very creepy, the Black Death. I'm going to put this as an A. Then we have Black Orchid, probably my favorite rainy day Doctor Who episode to watch. I'm a big fan of the 80s and 90s Agatha Christie adaptations on TV, and something about this really is really similar to that. It's very fun, very watchable, bit of a murder mystery kind of plot in it. I think it's the last one that didn't have some sort of an alien threat in it. Anyway, it's set in the 1920s, I believe. And yeah, I just really, really enjoy it. And I'm going to give it an A as well. So Davison's doing pretty well here. Then we have Earthshock, one of the most shocking of stories. It also features probably my favorite of the Doctor Who enemies, the Cybermen. They're not my favorite in this. They're a lot more emotional, which I prefer them in the more sort of Troughton style, where they're less emotionally. But yeah, they are still very interested in Earthshock, and it's a very memorable one. That is definite A tier as well. Then, unfortunately, the first of the Davisons that isn't great, which is Time Flight. I don't mind it particularly, but it's not brilliant. Some of it hasn't aged too well. The Master's bizarre costume that he takes on, disguise that he takes on, is has not aged well at all. But and yeah, it's fun to see the Concorde in it, but apart from that, it's not the best one. So I'm going to give it a D. Then we're on to the Five Doctors. One of those that is a real love letter to the show, brings in so many elements. I really like this one, but you've got to kind of turn off your more serious Doctor Who fan mind in this one, because it is rather daft at times, and it does have a lot of continuity issues. But apart from that, it's a really, really good fun one to watch. And the more I watch it, the more I love it. Great to see Troughton back in this one, and Pertwee, of course. Tom Baker, it's a shame that he didn't agree to be in it, so they had to use some of the footage from Sharda. But yeah, and William Hurdle does a great job for the late, great Hartnell. It's just very, very shame. It's a real shame that William Hartnell isn't in this one, but he does a good job, and I'm going to give it an A as well. I'm going to put it there. Ark of Infinity is another one that's grown on me the more and more I watch it. Not brilliant, but it's good to see Omega back. Talking of well, I said the Five Doctors, but Omega is introduced in the Three Doctors, of course. But very watchable, a lot of fun, but not the best one. So I'm going to put it there as a C. Next up is Snake Dance, and it's nice to see a follow-up to my favorite Davison story, Kinder, again with the nightmarish Mara that kind of infests your nightmares and things. I really like the relationship between Tegan and the Fifth Doctor in this one, but I don't like it as much as Kinder. I'm going to give it a B, I think. Then we're into the Black Guardian trilogy, which is a lot of fun. I enjoy Mordrin Undead is my favorite of the three. Introduces Turlo, who's quite an interesting character, a bit of a departure on the usual companion. Not quite up here, but I would put it maybe as a C, a high C, I think. Terminus sees Nyssa leaving, unfortunately, and it's set on a plague ship. An interesting one, grown on me a little bit more. I used to call it tedious because it was quite a slow one, but I enjoy it more now that I've seen it a few times, and I'd probably put it just after Mordrin Undead. Enlightenment is another one that has grown on me, but still isn't one of my favorites. I'd probably put it about there. The King's Demons, interesting two-parter. Nice to see the Master back again. Chameleon is an interesting companion that didn't really work, but I admire their ingenuity in trying at least. It's okay. It's a C, I reckon, and I would probably put it there. Warriors of the Deep is my least favorite of the Silurian episodes, but does have its moments. It's not a bad one, but it's not brilliant either. So it's probably, oh, am I going to be cruel? Yeah, I'll be cruel and put it as a D. It's better than Time Flight though. The Awakening is another kind of, well, it's a weird spin on the historical episodes, and again, great rainy day TV. I keep saying that, but I think Davison's era really is great rainy day TV. It's the sort of thing that's not going to blow your mind like other Doctors, but it's very watchable and very charming. It has that real kind of Sunday tea time feeling. I always think Davison's era. I'm going to put The Awakening as a mid C. It's very average, got some interesting scenes, but yeah, it's about there, I think. Then we have Frontios, the Attack of the Giant Slugs. Very slow, I found this one, but I don't remember it that well. I maybe need to rewatch it to really fully appreciate it. I'm going to put it down as a D. Then we have not Remembrance of the Daleks. We have Resurrection of the Daleks, which is a very good Dalek story. Davros is back and is wonderful in this. It's one of the darkest, grimmest Doctor Who. I remember from the classic era. And after saying that Davison's era is so charming and easy watching, I think Resurrection of the Daleks will actually still seems quite grim and quite violent at times, kind of foreshadowing the Sixth Doctor's era. I really like this one, but it won't be everybody's cup of tea, but I really like it. I'm going to put it as an A. And I'm going to put it, I'm going to put it as an S. I'm going to put it as an S, and I'm going to put Five Doctors as an S as well. Planet of Fire is a bit more forgettable. It's got some really good moments in it. It's got some really nice location shots, but compared with the stories that sandwich it, which is Resurrection of the Daleks and Peter Davison's Swan Song, it's not as memorable. The master, Anthony Ainley, steals the show, of course, but I would say it's probably either a low B or a high C. I'm going to put it about there, I think. And lastly, we have The Caves of Zarni, often cited as the greatest of all the classic series. And I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think there are, I would say, I was going to say 2 out of 4 of the episodes, but actually 3 out of the 4. So the majority of it are superb, essential viewing. I love the bad guy in this, who is kind of a Phantom of the Opera figure. And I love it's very political, this one, much more grown up and adult Doctor Who story. And the ending is just heartbreaking, and it's so bittersweet when you see the Fifth Doctor goes out as the most heroic of all the Doctors in that particular episode, and yeah, really sacrificing himself for someone that really he's only met in the last story, Perry. And yeah, it's seen as a classic for a reason, and it's definitely an S. This is where it comes down to what is my favorite to keep returning to, and which is the best. I would say it's probably the best of the Fifth Doctor, but it's less enjoyable to me than Kinder, so it's going to go second, so apologies for that. Caves of Zarni fans, whew, there we go. That wasn't quite as epic, but still as difficult. That's the order at the moment that I would put the Fifth Doctor stories in. No doubt it'll change as I rewatch them, but as I said, I'd love to hear what your opinions of the stories are. What would you rank as the highest of the Davison era, and what would be your ones to miss at the bottom here? Okay, thanks very much for watching, and hope you can join me for the next one when I'll be looking at the very divisive Sixth Doctor. Take care.